Hello, it's Thomas Ruzbezar, ladies and gentlemen, author, and today I want to do a deep dive into the main character of my novel, An Expectation of Plenty, kind of a deep analysis into what inspired me to write about him, create him. As I wrote, what kind of started coming up in the writing process, and a deeper analysis of who this character is. Anyway, the character of Vincent. I didn't give him a last name, but he's just known as Vincent in this novel. He's the protagonist. He suffers from amnesia. He only knows what's happening in the present. Anything in the past, he's definitely trying to find out who he is, desperately trying to figure out any information about his past, about his family, about his lineage, and that is kind of has been a frustrating source of. It's just been very ineffective for him. He is homeless. He lives in Lisbon, in a church called the Church of Santa Lucia, in a section of Lisbon which is known as the Alfama, which is a very historic, very old world, decayed. This is during the economic crash of the mid-2000s. Vincent happens to be among many other transients and vagrants there at that time. And the streets are very hilly, beautifully decayed, old world feel. Lots of tiles and decayed tiles and different panorama of colors next to the river, the Tejo, or the Tagus as we call it in English, but it's the Tejo, T-E-J-U in Portuguese or Spanish, or that's kind of the main waterway there that goes by the city. Vincent's in his mid-40s. He befriends a character by the name of Fausto. He's quiet. He's an observer. The initial inspiration for Vincent, I was traveling in Lisbon. This is going back to about 2015. And I was sitting in one of the parks there. And, it was a beautiful day. And I just looked up, and there was this gentleman kind of, about 10 yards away from me, 5 yards away from me. And he's just sitting there, and he was well-dressed. He didn't look like a vagrant. He didn't look like homeless, but he was mumbling to himself. He would look at the trees and, mumble to himself. And I just thought, wow, what an interesting character this is. I didn't know if anyone else noticed. I noticed this gentleman, and he served as the image, the kind of the beginning image of Vincent. While this man was not homeless or a transient, he was well dressed. He actually served because of the way he observed things and talked to himself and muttered to himself. You had to really watch it. He kind of was the opening image I had of my character Vincent, and I added that whole sense of amnesia, this history where Vincent's father committed some terrible crimes back in 40, 50 years prior. Vincent has no idea of that. He has no idea. He has little artifacts that tie him to his father, like in his wallet, a little note, a birthday note from many, many years ago, very brittle, very, you could barely read the writing, but he kept on to this memento. And, this is a man with, he lives out of a suitcase, a couple of books, a couple of socks, a shirt, whatever he wears on his back. This is what he owns. He loves smoking this pipe and this, I call it number 42 tobacco, this tin of tobacco that, if he ever makes money scrounging around, he does that. He enjoys his friendship with Fausto, but that turns into something that, Fausto is a wheeler and dealer. Vincent gets kind of caught up in all that. Fausto mysteriously disappears. Vincent thinks it's this other aggressive, nasty vagrant by the name of Tristão, who is a bully, who violent, will knife someone in a pinch. And he thinks Tristão has something to do that. Tristão actually also kind of picks up and leaves and becomes this almost like this underworld figure that looms. And because of Vincent's father's crimes, there's a gentleman from halfway around the world from Jewish background, comes to Lisbon, does his research, and finds that is looking for Vincent and wants to pay back what he lost, meaning his father, Vincent's father, committed these crimes against this character's family. The character is by the name of Ibrahim, and he's looking to get some revenge, exact revenge on Vincent. But Vincent, of course, has no idea about anything. He's this guy who's just trying to survive as a vagrant, trying to figure out his past. And so there's this mysterious element. And there's this also romantic, mysterious quality because of the setting. Lisbon, the setting of Lisbon is very, very crucial to all this, especially that neighborhood of the Alfama. Just the beauty of the city, the decay of the city, the time of the economic crisis, and how things were kind of falling apart at that time, not only for individuals like the homeless in that world, but also the big picture, how it affected everything. So yeah, there's a deeper dive, I hope, into the character of Vincent, my main character, the protagonist of An Expectation of Plenty. Hope it gives you a little bit of insight and some inspiration to maybe go further and check out the book. All right, peace.